Hey everyone, I'm Candace.
I'm Latoya.
And I'm Sherelle.
And we are
Sistas Unscripted. Thank you so much for joining us.
We are completely unscripted, where we talk about all the things, all the shit, whatever we want, from the eyes of Black sisters. So stay and kick it with us.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to another episode of Sistas Unscripted. Hey, sisters.
Hi.
We're going to talk about betrayal list. Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know what a betrayal list is, so it basically was like, it was trending more a little bit later last year. I still see them now and then, but I thought it was interesting because I still see some pop up. But just on Google, it says the betrayal list trend involves social media users largely driven by a viral, potentially faked post. So it originated from Kanye, I guess, sharing lists of people, items, or experiences that have betrayed him. So other people had kind of like taken that idea and they made their own betrayal list. So like it could be like something really ridiculous, like McDonald's didn't put ice in my coffee today. So I wanted to ask you guys two things that are on your betrayal list. Sherelle, let's start with you.
I need two things. I have people.
I mean, your betrayal list is your betrayal list. I can't tell you, how your betrayal list is gonna be. So
Okay, I might get a little bit on a rampage. Okay, so
she's gotta pay for
uno number dos. One.
Yo, we need to learn. Okay, Bad Bunny. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
Listen, going back to the list.
Okay,
I have no problem naming names. Mandy. Should I drop the last name?
No.
Should I drop the last name?
No.
Mandy. Mandi. Ugh, there's not a lot of Mandys that spell her name like that.
Not the I. Not the Mandy, but the I.
I should have known. Anyway, so long story. I'm gonna try and make this quick. So there's this guy that I dated, and I don't know. It was a weird stage in my life because I thought I was gonna like marry this fool. I was really flipping dumb. Anyway, but I was like, yeah, dude, he could be the guy for me. And we fast forward. This is when I lived in Eagle Mountain with Mandy. And then he didn't care for Mandy. Anyway, so we were drinking one night and it was just me or myself, Bryce, and Mandy. And he was like, she was cordial to Mandy. It was fine. And so we all got super sloshed, went to bed. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and he wasn't in my room. It's like, and my bedroom is so small. Like, you're either in or you're not, you know?
That's what she said.
I was waiting for it. Anyway, and so I come out of the room thinking that he's in the bathroom. He's not in the bathroom. He's not in the room across from me. And then I look over to my right, and that's where Mandy's room is, and I hear some things. And I'm like, the fuck is he doing in there, dude? That's crazy. Like, what are you doing in there? I'm not fucking stupid. But also, like, what are you doing in there? Because, like, you don't want to get, like, contaminated with a whole bunch of other dudes. So, anyway, I'm like, I'm like, Bryce. Bryce. And then he, like, there's some shuffling. And then he opens the door, but like just enough for him to come out. Like, he doesn't open the door, right? He just like opens enough for him to come out, and then he closes it right after him. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then of course I'm naive and I want to believe him, but I mean, we all know what was going on in there. And so that's when like her demeanor changed to me or towards me and stuff like that. But obviously they fucked. It's cool. Whatever. Like, whatever. I'm over it now. And so, but fast forward, because there was some stuff that happened with him and I that I feel I was taken advantage of. And then there was stuff with her that whatever. And then it was really awkward because we still had to live with each other. And anyway, but we actually I talked because I was just sick of the animosity, and we worked it out and we're good. But then I was talking to my ex Keith, rest in peace, because he just passed. But I was talking to my ex Keith, and I was like, oh well, I think I maybe want to like try things with him again. And I was showing her pictures of how he looked because he just lost a lot of weight and he looked like he was doing really good for himself. Turns out he was losing a lot of weight because he was on drugs. But hey, I'm naive at that point. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so we went over to Keith's place in Pleasant Grove. We drove separately. And then we were just hanging out, and then I decided I wanted to come back home, and then she ended up staying, which is fine, no big deal. And then it turns out that she's fucking sucking his dick. Are you kidding me? You gonna do it twice? You gonna be doing me dirty twice? Like, it was wild. But I hated her. And still to this day, I don't like hate her. But like, we're not cool.
Well, yeah.
So that's why. Like, you do me dirty once, and that was a big dirty. Like, you do me dirty once, like, fine, whatever, we can get past it. But you do it again? Like, what is going on with you? That's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Anyway, so that was one. Second one is a little bit quicker, okay? So I went to Sprint a long time ago, okay, when Sprint was a thing, and I got a new phone, right? But this was before device payments were even a thing, right? So I got my my device, and I was like, hey, can you just charge it all to my account and then I pay it off over time? And he's like, yeah, no problem. But of course they're on commission, so they're just gonna say yes. But it turns out like that's not protocol. So then I was paying it off over time, but after like a month or two, my phone turned off, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, it's because you owe like $600. I'm like, that's my device. And this is the situation there, or what I worked out with like the Sprint dude. I'm like, oh, okay, well, just call in once a month and we'll get it figured out. So they would turn back on my phone. Cool, whatever. Anyway, so I don't remember what happened. Oh, it was because I switched from, that was when I ported my phone to T-Mobile. Remember when you were pregnant, Candace, with Isaiah, and you were like, my nose. And I was all like, well, I haven't showered in like 50 years. So can you smell me? And you're like, yes. Yeah, this is all at T-Mobile. Anyway, so then we ported my number, and then how it works, right? Your leftover bill gets billed to you. I never paid it. So it got sent to collections. Something happened though with collections where they did me dirty. I don't remember what they did, but they did me dirty. But also I definitely was around that time period where I wasn't taking accountability, and I was a victim from everything and everyone. So it could have been my fault, but just because I think I'm always right, I feel like I was dirtied. Anyway, and because it hit my credit, I couldn't, my credit score wasn't where I needed it to be to purchase my first home. Because if everything would have gone through, I would have purchased my first home like in my early 20s. So anyway, fuck that Sprint guy. And that's my story. Tell your friends.
Toya, what about your betrayal list? Doesn't have to be deep.
I was about to ask you what it was called again because I was like, that sounds like trash. Trashy ass motherfuckers. My gosh. I can't wait till mom listens to these episodes.
She's gonna be like, Sherelle, Latoya. And then she's gonna hit you guys on the top of the forehead next time she sees you.
Probably. But, you know, I'm old now. So
but she loves us. We love you, Mom.
She does love us. I love Mommy. Okay. My betrayal list. Let's see. Oh, I forgot all mine because Sherelle's are so fun and interesting. Okay, this is a good one.
Spill the tea, girl. Betrayal list. Let's go.
I won't say the names, but you know how it goes. Usually your admirers follow you and see what you're doing in your life.
They call those haters.
That's true. Yeah, Cardi B's like, ha ha ha, y'all follow me now. She's like, it's okay, you can hate me, but you be following me and blah blah blah. Cardi B's the dopest. Anyway, I remember in high school when we were going through like all the things with the family, and I took it super 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 hard. And a lot of my friends kind of started disappearing because, now that I'm older and I have a better perspective on, navigating heaviness as a teenager amongst like you're changing and all that shit. I get it now. Still doesn't excuse the treatment though. And so I had a group of friends that from junior high into high school that they would hang around me because I was a cheerleader at the time and blah, 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 blah. But I was still like this awkward person. And then I got kicked off the squad because my grades dropped really bad because of, real life situations. And I really needed friends around. And they just kind of like MIA'd. So I remember reaching out to them and being like, hey, this weekend I would love to like hang out and go do something fun. Would you all want to get together? And they're like, oh, yeah, we can't do that. We have to stay in. Fast forward to the week, I heard them talking about what they were doing this weekend. And I was like, I thought y'all said that you couldn't get together. And they were like, oh, yeah. I mean, we found out that we were like able to kind of get together and stuff. And I was like, why didn't y'all call me? And they're like, oh, like, we're so sorry. We just, it was like kind of spontaneous. And I went, okay, went home and cried hardcore about it. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck them hoes. I'm going to go find people that actually like want me around. And then theater came around, and started hanging out with theater folks and doing my acting stuff again and really finding happiness and community. And this heifer showed up to one of my rehearsals, our long rehearsals for Q to Q. That's what we call it, where you spend all day and you queue up your shows with the tech lights and sounds and stuff for those who aren't in the theater world. But and it was an all-day thing, a one-day, all-day thing in high school. And I was so confused of why she was there. Mind you, I let this heifer play with my hair and do some like braids and stuff. And she actually did a decent job. And I was just like, oh, hey, I talked to her before and I was like, do you mind if we can like do a touch-up or whatever? And she said, sure. And everything's fine. And then I saw her and I was like, oh, what are you doing here? Because she's not in the class. And I was just kind of confused why she was there. I was like, can we talk about getting together to do it? And she goes, no. And I was like, no, I thought we talked about that we were going to. She goes, you just used me. And I was like, excuse me? I use you? I use you. Why are you even here? This ain't even your class. But I was like, you know what? I don't even have the time. I don't even have the time of day. So I went and I left. And I went to our theater classroom to have our lunch because we were on an hour lunch break before we started rehearsals again. And she showed up again and she was like, Latoya. And they're like, Latoya, like there's someone out there who like wants to talk to you. And I was like, oh. So I went out and it was her. And she just was like, I just feel like you're not spending any time with us anymore and blah, blah, blah. I was like, you didn't even want to be around me in the first place. I think you're just mad that I found community and people that actually want me around. Why would I want to be around people that don't want me around? I ain't no fool, okay? Mama did not raise no fool. And so she was just like, well, you've changed so much. I was like, well, you didn't have a problem hanging out with me when I was a cheerleader. But as soon as I got dropped, then you went MIA. And, I looked at her and I was like, you know what? I don't need this in my life. This is very mature of me at, 15, 16 years old. I said, I don't need this in my life anymore. From this point on, we're no longer friends. And I ended it. But I was hard. Middle sibs and Tauruses out there, you know what I'm talking about. When we're done with a bitch, we're done. And I was like, if I see you, I won't see you. I'll just walk past you. I'll look through you. You don't exist to me anymore. I don't even know your name. Starting now. And I turned around and I left. And years later, the next year, she had to audition to be in the theater class. And she finally was like, I understand, and blah, blah. So I tried to open the door again to be friends with her. But then this bitch got jealous of me again, being in a relationship. And started saying crazy shit, got one of my other best friends to turn against me. And I was like, Sherelle already said it. Fool me once, okay, but fool me twice? Mm-mm. And I never let her back in again. And Q 2020, when everything was going down in this third world country, And you know those emails that Black folks would get from people and be like, in high school, I'm so sorry that I did this to you in elementary school and blah, 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 blah. That bitch sent me an email and was like, I'm so sorry. I was just so jealous of you. And you know, I have to say it in my grown assness is say, stay jealous, bitch. Stay jealous. Okay.
Tea. Also to that, and I actually got tea from my roommate that'll help my immune system.
Hey,
I got water. I got water.
Hey, we'll drink to that. Okay.
I'll drink to that, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Stay jealous and stay mad.
Ooh.
I don't care if you hear this. You put me through so much hell. As Michael Jackson said, I don't like the tour. Well, I don't like the friendship. There wasn't even a friendship. You're just trying to use me for clout. And my second betrayal list will be, I don't want it to be so serious. You know what? The other day, I ordered me a DoorDash.
Oh, girl, not DoorDash in that place. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is already not good. Keep going. And you got to doctor it up, too. Like everything you get from DoorDash, you just got to doctor up. And it's expensive to doctor up. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
I know. But I was so tired and so lazy. And I was just like, I just need food in my body. I don't want to go back to the store. Just give me what I need. And this human, and usually I'm like, I give always the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. We all are trying to live once again in this third world country with no money. We're just living on coins and pennies. That pennies don't exist anymore. So rest in peace, pennies. But I always have the instructions very clear on where to go and what to do.
Yes, girl. Yes. Yes. I feel your pain. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. And all of a
Hold on,
sudden,
just so that the viewers and listeners understand kind of what's going on. LaToya is actually she lives in Sherelle's house while Sherelle is, so they're technically roommates, but they're not because Sherelle is in her crash pad elsewhere for where she's a flight attendant for, and then LaToya is living at Sherelle's home. So there we go.
True.
Just some context.
Yes, you do need the context. So I put all the information in there, very clear details, all the things. Just leave it outside the door and get the hell out of here. And please and thank you for your time and your efforts. I am beyond grateful. And I think I tip well. And this person, and mind you, like I order it, I'm doing like something else, cleaning or something, trying to get everything organized. And then all of a sudden it was like, I looked at my phone, it was blowing up and I was like, what's going on? Looked at my phone and it says, I have another order. I gotta go deliver. And I was like, what are you talking about? Wait, what? And I finally like looked at all the text. It was like, I can't get in. The code doesn't work. And I was like, yes, it does. I was like, other people have gotten in here just fine. And they're like, oh, well, let me try again. So they did. And they're like, I don't see your apartment. I don't see it. And I was just like, where are you, on the east side or are you on the west side? And they're like, I know I'm on the right side. All I see is apartment number 38 and then number 36. I was like, bruh, in the instructions, it says number 36. I'm number 36. Silence. Picture comes through. Gone. Delivered. I was like, homie, you didn't read the goddamn instructions. Okay?
Read the instructions. Read the instructions, please. And this does not just apply to DoorDash folk. This applies to all folk. Okay? Especially in the workplace. Please and thank you.
Yes, please and thank you are the magic words. And I'm always so grateful, but I give you all the tools and you don't use the tools. That's very frustrating. And I felt betrayed that day because it was a long day. And all I wanted to do was just eat my food and lay in my bed.
That's fair.
I feel you.
It's okay. That's called, I guess, in some places, that's called first world problems. Even though we live in a third world country, masked as a first world.
Yeah, I did DoorDash over the weekend and I was really disappointed because I ordered a pizza and it was very clear that somebody put their fingers in it. There was fingerprints in the cheese. I was like, great. Won't be doing that again.
Who would do that?
Nasty
But
people.
is that DoorDash at that point, or is that the provider?
I think it was the provider, because honestly, I believe that the DoorDasher had really, really good reviews, and it was sealed too. So I was not happy
Not
about it, because
cool.
I spent
Did you get your
some
money
decent
back?
money. No, because DoorDash is DoorDash. So
Girl,
They're the worst.
I
yeah.
always, I push them. I say, you better give me my money back, bitch. And I'm nice. Actually, not even nice. I'm kind and patient. But don't mess with my food, as a Taurus woman would say.
No, for real,
Don't
especially
mess
when we're
with
hungry.
my food. Mm-hmm.
So one of my betrayal list things is when your favorite show ends. Because you get so invested with the characters, and they're they become your best friends, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this person. I was really sad when Stranger Things ended. So,
My gosh,
Me
I have never
too.
judged someone so hard before. You guys are
it's
wild.
okay. Stranger Things is
Oh,
awesome.
it's so
I love that
good.
show.
And
I
then
love that show. Do you still believe, LaToya?
I
Do
do.
you
I
believe?
think
I believe.
too many plot holes like that. Come on now. And if you really let that many, y'all, that's not a good thing. But I do believe that they're playing with us. I think something's gonna reveal itself. It's just gonna take longer than we think. I believe.
That's
So.
why you guys got to watch Attack on Titan. I tell you, watch Attack on Titan. No plot holes. Best story ever. I'm not even being biased right now. So good.
You sure? Not a little bit?
No.
Are there
You
demigorgons
kidding me?
in
You
that?
know how many awards that show has won? That show has won more awards than any other show, regardless of live show, animated, anything. Actually, I don't even know for sure on that. You can cross-check me on. I'm just talking shit at this point, but it's won a lot of awards. Even the Global something award. Has any of your shows won something with global in the title? No.
Honestly, I don't pay attention to all that. If I like the show, I like the show. Awards or not. But anyway, back to my list. I get really sad. Or when a show gets canceled and you don't even get to finish the story, like Girlfriends, and My Wife and Kids, they didn't ever get a proper send off. So that's on my betrayal list. And then also something on my betrayal list is people that you've dated that are still technically your friends on social media, and they don't talk to you, and then they be staring at your stories. It's come on now. But we're going to get to the next segment. It's the Am I the Asshole? I've been listening to some podcasts where they've mentioned some of these, and so I went on Reddit and I found one that I thought would be interesting to bring up. So this one's quick. It says, am I the asshole for being offended by this? So it says, I was talking to a guy from school. We were planning to go out for ice cream together this weekend to get to know each other and see where things could go. I definitely could have handled that better if I wasn't at work when he texts that. And then in parentheses, this conversation happened when I was on my 10. And then I got left on red and also don't think there's anything else to talk about. Am I the asshole for being offended by his comments about weight? Okay, so here's the text messages. So it says something about, ice cream, she prefers sorbet. He goes, and first of all, anyway, this is the guy. He says, I got to ask a question real quick. And she goes, what's up? So you're 5'6", right? How much do you weigh? And then she goes, 104 to 109, depending on the daytime. Oh, I was thinking something under 100. That's what he said. And then she says, so that's underweight. I don't know if you know. And then he says, your weight is fine for now. Do you think you'll get over 110 anytime soon? It's definitely a deal breaker for me. And then she goes, what the F? First of all, you don't just say that to someone. That's an inside thought. And honestly, a terrible perception of how much you think girls should weigh. And then he says, I don't want a bigger girl than me. That's not a good look in general. And if you can't match that, then this is not going to work out. And then she says, yeah, you're right. I can't match that. It's a horrible expectation for you to have for people. Go deal with your own insecurities before projecting them onto others. So, is she the asshole for being offended?
Hell no. Hell no. Also, that's crazy that he's talking like he's under 100 pounds, because I'd be like, bruh, you want someone who's less than your weight? That's crazy. And two, Like, I'm kind of like this. I would rather know now who you are so I can make very decisive choices on being done with someone like that. No, she's not the asshole. That dude is unrealistic, and good luck finding someone who's going to love you for who you are, bruh. He's the
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's okay to have expectations in a relationship and things like that, but I think that's a very unrealistic. So if he's 100 pounds or less or whatever it is, because that's what I'm thinking, he's probably at least 100 pounds. It's like, well, then, like, just don't ask people about their weight, And first of all, for women, like, weight fluctuates so much depending on their period, depending on the time of the month, hormone changes. Like, they could have 10 pounds of water weight, That's crazy. And to expect someone to be under 100 pounds, we're not in 5th grade. You know what I mean? Sherelle, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I'm probably the opposite in this one. I think she is the asshole for being offended.
Okay, I would like to hear your thoughts.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously the dude is the asshole, obviously. But just to share some perspective, right? Like, as you said, Candace, it's okay to have preferences, right? And, but obviously, and I feel like you can ask anything that you want, right? As long as you word it appropriately, right? I don't know how you would ask that question appropriately, but hey, there's a lot of words in the vocabulary that I'm not necessarily aware of that you could use, okay? To get what you want. Or to get the information that you want. But also on the caveat, like, you can't ask questions um, and think that similar questions can't be asked in return. So if you're going to ask my weight and I don't necessarily feel comfortable asking your weight, well, what's your height? Let's talk about that, you know? And that's a big insecurity for men. I would say that's probably as equals insecurity for men as it is to weight with women. So, um, things like that. So, no, definitely shouldn't ask. No, she's not. No, she's totally fine for being offended. Again, preferences are okay, but I don't think he went about it the right way. Like I
Right.
said, I don't know what right way it could be, but hey, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Who
she
else
said
is
it
there?
best. I think she said it best in one of her text messages. Like, those are inside thoughts. These are the thoughts that you just kind of keep in your head tucked away and don't speak of them.
Yeah, but like, good for him/her, I guess. I mean, I'm glad he said something up front, so they're not wasting each other's time.
Right. No, for sure. These comments, though, are killing me, though. I'm just going to read a couple of them because everyone, for the most part, agrees with her that she's not the asshole. Someone said, "Nar, come back when you're
They're
fully
gay.
grown." No, did you hear the rest? He said, "Nar, come back when you're fully grown." And this one says, okay, little fella. I was like, dang. 60 pounds when he's wet and wearing boots. I was like, ooh. And then someone said, I don't date anyone under 120. 110 is the deal breaker cutoff. Mr. String Bean dictating other people's weights, LMAO. This person says, did you date my brother? My brother has the same preference. These are hilarious. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting one to bring. But our main topic for today was going to be our first periods. So I don't remember why I wanted to bring this topic up. I feel like you and I, LaToya, had a conversation, but I also had some conversations. Actually, Olivia's been bringing it up a lot. And then there was some stuff going on at work where, because I work in an office full of women. And so, that stuff, comes up quite a bit. So it made me think, I'm like, why don't we talk about it on the podcast? I guess, what age were you when you first started your period? I know I was 13. It was the summer before I went into 7th grade, I believe. So, yeah, I do remember that. And I remember I was like cramping like crazy. I didn't know what they were, but I thought I was like being pulled apart. Like that's how painful my cramps were. I've never had them that bad since, but they've been pretty bad. But I remember just like curling up in the fetal position. It was bad. What about you guys? How old are you guys?
Toy, you go first.
I think this is what also inspired us to talk about it was mine happened on April Fool's Day. And I
That's right.
I was 12. So I was in 7th grade. And I remember waking up and went to the bathroom and I was like, what is this? And I was like, no. Then I remember just like grabbing all of the pads and stuff and like taking like 8 of them because we had 8 class periods. No pun intended. That's literally what it's called, 8 class periods. And I told Mom, I was like, Mom, I think I started my period. And she was like, and I was like, she's like, you're kidding, right? And I was like, no, I really did start my period. And she was like, oh, I need to get you your things. But Mom thought I was kidding with her. I was like, why would I play with that? I don't have time to think about those things.
I mean, considering some of the things that we had to joke about,
Navigate.
well, I don't know if we talked about that story. That's a story for another time. But when you had to pretend that you're pregnant,
Yeah, but that was like
was
in
that
8th
after?
grade. That was after.
Dang, that's crazy. You remember like it was 8th grade. Anyway, continue on.
Only reason why I know is because in 7th grade I started my period, and that's the only way that I could have been able to pretend that I was pregnant was because I just barely started and
That's
stuff.
true. That makes sense.
But I remember that. I remember just being like, man, I don't want to deal with this, and then the cramps, and then just like lots of things that I just didn't want to deal with that I was very upset about. And then I already was such a emotional kid that adding that and not being able to control your emotions and stuff, yeah, I hated it. But April Fools,
What a lovely joke.
a joke.
Is this a
It was
joke?
on me. The joke was on me. The universe said, girl, it's time to become a woman. And I was like, no, but I want to just be a little kid. I haven't been able to be a kid yet.
That part.
What about you, Sherelle?
I was in 6th grade when it happened. It's funny.
6th grade?
Yeah, I was in 6th grade. So I went to the bathroom. And then I didn't have any cramps. I didn't know what was going on. But my underwear was crusty. And I missed that. Like nowadays, sorry guys for whoever's around me. This is girl stuff. But when like nowadays, right? If I bleed through and my underwear is wet. My underwear was dry, but the blood was crusty. Like, why can't I have that? You know, I don't feel like I'm wearing soggy underwear. You know, I definitely didn't feel that at all. I was just like, oh, what's this crust going on, right? I don't know what I thought, but I definitely didn't think it was my period. That's for sure. I honestly don't even remember what happened what happened after that. But I just remember that it was just crusty and I get jealous that I don't have that anymore. You know, it's weird. It's weird. And that's my story.
Both sound horrible.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
But like nothing
feel
bled
like-
through. Like I didn't have like bloody pants or anything like that. You know? Like I was pretty solid.
That's crazy. Here's my question. Did you ever during the earliest stages of starting your period ever bleed out onto your desk seat?
See, that I don't remember because I've been trying to remember if that happened or not. Because there's so many things that I've just kind of put in the back pocket somewhere that I don't remember. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if I did. But I always made sure I had some sort of like sweater or something just in case. I was always wearing a sweater, especially in school when I was on my period back then, because I was afraid that was going to happen. Because I saw girls that went through that and they were made fun of. And that stuff like made me so mad. And like it still kind of makes me mad today when I think about it. Because it's not their fault. They don't, they can't do anything about it. So to make fun of somebody for having a bodily function, and I get to some extent that they are younger and they don't have mature minds, but I think that's something that I've taken with me in my own parenting, is that I want my son to know what it is, and if he sees someone that's like that he's going to be the type of guy that will offer up his sweatshirt, or to, hey, I just want to let you know, da 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 da, like in private, help them so they're not feeling embarrassed or least embarrassed, as opposed to, him laughing at someone because, oh, they're having a period.
That's fair. I had I'm sure I had those stories, but the one that really sticks with me that I think about every once in a while, I was in color guard and I had pink pajamas on, and they just never made pads big enough. Never. Like, I'm a pad girly. I don't like shoving things up my vagina. It doesn't feel nice. Doesn't feel good. I also kind of rant, like, it's one hole. How is there different directions to put it in? People are like, "Oh, are you doing it towards your back, or are you just putting?" Dude, it's a fucking hole. Like, what different directions do I put it in? Like, you have tampon experts that are like, "Oh, you point it towards your vagina. Oh, you point it towards your back." Like, no, dude, you just have one hole and you put it in. I never understood that. Anyway, sounds like that's just a me problem, but tampons are not for me. I'm a pad girly. But at the time when I was younger, they never made tampons big enough. Like, I need a pad that goes
You
literally
mean
to my
pads?
tits. Yeah, pad. Sorry, not tampon. Pad. I need a pad that goes like up to my tits all the way up to my back. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I was in color guard practice, and where I was sitting at, I was at the top of the line, and then everyone was behind me. We had like 5 lines of 7 people, and I was in the first line. Anyway, and so there were a few people that I was kind of interested in, because we actually had to practice with the marching band as well. So there were a few people in the marching band that I was interested in. And so, like, hours had gone by, and then I found out that I had this big ass red spot on my butt. It was huge. And then I was like, what? And then my friend, I wish I could remember her name because I blasted her ass, but she was like, oh, yeah, exactly, right? And she's like, oh, are you talking about the red spot on your butt? You son of a, you knew that I was bloody and you didn't say shit. You son of a, I swear to God, dude. I swear to God.
Wait, is
Like,
she on your, what is it called?
I don't know who she is.
Your
I don't remember who she is.
burn
Betrayal
list?
list.
Your
She
betrayal
should be.
list.
She shouldn't. Honestly,
Somehow,
now I think about it, she makes number 1. Mandy, you're off the list. She's number 1. Mandy, you uno dos. Numero uno dos, bitch. Anyway, I was so pissed, and I'm clearly still pissed. Anyway, that was my story. And, like, I just had to sit with it because I didn't have anything, you know? Like, so fucking irritated. And I'm already a fucking loser as it is. Everyone's making fun of me. Like, I'm the only black girl in the school. You know, there's every reason in the book to look at me because I'm different. And you're going to let me live like that? I was so upset. And that's also my story. Tell your friends.
I just love how it full circle. We had a full circle. I don't know if we can full circle like that. That was too clean.
Yeah, that was clean. But back to your question, Toy. I don't remember having a situation like that. I'm sure I have, but like I said, I always had some sort of a hoodie or sweatshirt, long shirt. So what I would do is I would have it around my waist, but I'd have the sweatshirt up, so if I wouldn't get blood on the actual hoodie. So if I did get it on the seat, it would stay like on my pants and not my hoodie. But
That's
did you have that
skills.
experience?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Math class. I won't say who it was, junior high. I stood up and I saw and I went, and I tried to, like, I didn't know what to do. And all I had was my coat. And I just, like, took my hands and just tried to wipe it away, and it didn't do anything. And I was like, and so I just kind of had to put the thing around my waist and went to the bathroom to wash my hands. And I was like, this is just what I have to deal with for the rest of the day. Horrible.
It just breaks my heart, and it takes me to my next thought. There's so many younger girls getting their periods a lot earlier these days. One of my coworkers' daughters started her period in 5th grade. That's crazy.
A study.
Olivia is so close to that.
There's a study that I read. It was a while ago, so I could be misremembering, but it was along the lines of why women. Let me take that back. Why children are getting their periods a lot earlier than what women would get in, prior history and whatnot. And there's a lot of links between artificial dyes, styrofoam, plastics, just a lot of unhealthy things that people are putting in our foods that are affecting our hormones, that is creating children having their periods at much earlier ages. It's unfortunate.
And that's so sad too. It breaks my heart because my baby girl, she's 9, and she's kind of like in that weird range where she could be in, like, she's in 3rd grade, but I feel like she could be in 4th grade because she's that smart, and I'm not just being biased. But she, her birthday was on that cuff where she barely missed the deadline to be in kindergarten the year that she turned 5. I just know that she's just not emotionally ready for that. She's already very emotional, and it worries me for her. And one of my biggest fears is that she's going to start when she's with her dad. And I just know her dad's just not going to know what to do. And this is no like shade towards him, but just some of the things that we have talked about, in regards to her being a girl. He has been very, how do I explain it? Just not positive about it. And I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but it's coming across as if she's dirty or if she's disgusting. And I think that's kind of an important conversation that we have to, and I think it's more towards men. And I think there's a lot of men these days that understand that that's what women go through, and so they get it. But I think there's still a lot of men out there that are very much like, oh, you guys are gross. You guys have periods. I'm sorry, we can't control that. So maybe grow up and grow a pair or whatever you need to do to realize that this is nothing that we have control over, and that this is just a part of who we are as women. And we're not gross because of it. So don't make us feel that way. We already feel gross enough. And that's something I'm trying to help Olivia understand, is that, because I'm trying to teach her early that there's no shame in it. You're not disgusting. You're not dirty because you're having a period or whatnot. Because she's asking me a lot of questions right now. She saw, it's so funny because she calls tampons Tampax. She saw a Tampax commercial and she's like, Mommy, do you guys have to put those up there? She's like, so when I have a period, does that mean I have to wear those? I'm like, if you want to, you don't have to. She's like, I'm gonna wear pads because I don't think I'm gonna want to have anything up there. And I said, well, that's your choice. So she's like, do you wear Tampax? I was like, yes, I do, honey. But I also I started using what's called the Flex, the disc, and that actually I like a lot better. And it's actually a lot safer too, because the tampons have those toxins and stuff in it. And as we're getting older, we're learning all the things that have all these harmful chemicals in it. And I'm trying to steer away from a lot of those things and as much as I can, especially for my kids. So and for, Olivia, knowing that, like Sherelle said, those toxins and those things are more than likely the things that are causing our young girls to start their periods earlier, which is really, really sad and scary.
That's why I said we live in a third world country.
And next time a man says, I shouldn't say man, next time a boy says that a girl is gross because she's got a period, she could be like, well, I wish I didn't have a period, so a parasite person like you didn't exist.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That just made me remember, I don't know if you guys saw, there was this Instagram reel where, you know how people these days, they'll throw something at somebody and they'll pretend that they didn't. And in most cases, they won't know that it's that person. But in this case, they threw out the wrong one. And it was somebody in New York, and it was a Black lady. And honestly, I don't know if it was AI at this point, but it's New York. It wouldn't surprise me if that was a real thing. But they threw something at this lady. They were filming her, but pretending that they weren't. And then she she goes down her underwear, grabs her pad, and she goes all over the dude's face. I was like, that was a bit far, but I understand it.
Was it far? Okay, quick story, and then we're going to wrap it up. In my junior year in high school, so we usually have in our theater class, we had at the time a slumber party when we had our main stage show. And so the girls would sleep over at the girls' house and the guys would sleep over at the girls' house, or the boys' house. But there was always like a prank that was going to happen. My junior year, we went there. And we're like, what would be a good prank? What would be a good prank? The guys came over and I forget what they did, but ours beat theirs hardcore. Because I was like, well, we all were like, what if we get a bunch of pads and tampons, or as Olivia calls it, Tampax? And what if we make fake blood and we smear it with fake blood and we put it all over their cars and all the things? So we did. And they
Whose
were
idea was this?
It was all of ours. And those guys, we took the tampons and put it on the door handles of their cars. And then we took the pads with all this fake blood on it and put it on the windowsills or on the windows and shit. It was amazing. We felt like badasses. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
And to think that this was during the time when there was there were cell phones, but not smartphones and things like that. So that would have been that would have been hilarious to see.
It would have been. We probably would have gone viral. But
yeah.
But I will say this. I think I'm grateful for a millennial generation and zillennials and future generations, because I think we are changing the narrative about the stigma around periods and those who have periods, because it's it is just a human body function that a body does. If you can have children or not even have children, it's just that's a body function. We shouldn't be putting shame to it. It's everyone who has ovaries navigates that. It's just life, Everyone has to take a shit. Everyone has to take a piss. Everyone has to blow the nose, and everybody has to, everyone bleeds in their own ways. And so I do think there's honor around it. In my gender studies class, we talked about periods and how different tribes would honor them and view them as something completely different. But as you know, the world got colonized. That perspective has shifted into the shame narrative. But the more that we talk about it, the less, and the more that we stigmatize it, I think it was just be looked at as, it's just an everyday occurrence. There should be no shame around it.
I agree. And I would say a little PSA to the men's out there that not the ones that support us, because there's a lot of you that do. But this is coming from experience. Because it took me a long time, me personally, to be comfortable with wearing tampons. And I think the first time I wore a tampon, Mom actually had to help me. And when I was, we went to one of her work swim parties or whatnot. And I was like, it's fine, I'll just wear a pad. She's like, you can't wear a pad when you're going swimming. And so and it was one of the cardboard applicators, and those ones are not comfortable. But she helped me, and that was in my teens. And then when I had my first real boyfriend, I don't think I'd wore a tampon since that time that Mom helped me. And I remember I was on my period one time, and my boyfriend at the time made me feel very embarrassed and very shameful for wearing pads. Why do you wear pads? That's so gross and that's so unattractive. And that's what forced me into wearing tampons, because of that shame and that I don't know, that gross feeling that I was getting from my boyfriend at the time. So this is just a PSA for the guys out there that don't support women on periods. Just let the woman do what she feels comfortable with. If she wants to wear a pad, let her wear a pad. If she wants to wear a tampon, let her wear a tampon. If she wants to wear a disc, let her wear a disc. They even have like those, I think they're called Thinks underwear, where they're like period underwear now. Like whatever is comfortable for that person. Like also like we're forgetting part of the conversation is that not every uterus and vagina is the same. So you have different sizes. Some things are smaller, some things are bigger, and it's whatever's comfortable most to that person. Let them wear what they're going to wear. So mind your business is all I'm going to say.
Sounds like they need a warm glass of shut the hell up.
That's exactly what I was saying. Mind yours, and I'll mind mine. And also, let them. I'll be like, bruh, shut the fuck up and get out of my face. Like, I'll be like this, mind yours, or else I will beat your ass.
Yeah, I usually, nowadays, I say, no uterus, no opinion. Thank you.
I like that. Oh, we should make that into a pin.
No uterus, no opinion.
No opinion. Coined it.
Thank you.
As of today.
Well, now we're going to wrap this up with our joy of the week. So let's start with, I'm going to start this time. My joy of the week is this. This is the first time we've been together in a second. I mean, I know we're not together in person, but I love recording with each of you individually. But when we're all together, it's just a different dynamic. So this is my joy. And I love you guys. And I don't know what all this is. Vogue. Okay, next.
Toya, you go.
You go.
All right. My joy of the week is I just have really cool roommates. And I adore them all.
My joy of the week is being able to have this glass of red tea. That's my joy of the week.
I need to see what's in that cup, please.
Can you see?
It is red wine. I thought you were playing.
What?
Not drinking it out of the teacup.
Lower expectations.
Enjoy.
I love it. I love it. You deserve that glass of wine, by the way.
I love it.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of Sisters Unscripted.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys listening and being part of our Sister Fam. If you would like to follow us, you can find us on the socials at Sistas Unscripted. You can also send us emails or shout outs, topics, whatever you would like at sistasunscripted@gmail.com. We also have a number that you can text us or leave voicemails to. I will leave that in the podcast description or the show description. And we will check y'all out next time. We love y'all. And sisters.
Out.
Out. Pew, 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 pew.